Because obviously they're 4 points behind. They're 4 points behind Villa, 5 points off the top of the league. They've lost 3 games this season. But yeah, they've lost 3 games this season. They've drawn four, so they are losing that kind of. They are losing that level. Like last year, they lost 5 games total, and they drew 5 games total. So they've only got two losses and a draw before they level last season, right? And we're only 17 games into the season. We're not even at Christmas, so still 20 games to go. So they are at a really weird kind of. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say fork in the road in Pep's cycle, because teams go through cycles. So I feel like it's important to speak about them in this Pep cycle. I think Pep, when I can't remember what interview it was, but I think it was referencing João Cancelo. And Pep goes, you need to reform a team. You have to like refresh a team. You have to constantly rejuvenate and change players, because you can't have the same team, because then it gets obviously predictable. It gets like it gets dull, it gets boring, because it's the same thing over and over again. So you need to change. You need to change formations. Obviously, we saw the change in like having this, what was it, 3-2-4-1 formation with like a centre half pushing up in midfield in possession. He's kind of adopted that and really used that to his advantage, and kind of used that tactical evolution as a way to rejuvenate the squad. Obviously, bringing players in like Kovacic and getting rid of people like Gundogan, and bringing in a proper number 9 in Haaland after not having one 2 seasons ago, but still winning the league quite comfortably. And obviously introducing the likes of Rico Lewis into the team, Guardiola, etc. Right. Obviously, he has done a lot of rejuvenation. He has done a lot of changing to that team. But I'm just wondering, when's the end point for Pep? When is it? I'm not saying it's now. I'm not saying if he doesn't win the league, he has to go. Because at the end of the day, he kind of has the right to go off on his own terms, because he's just that good. He's just that good, and he's just done that much for that club that he can basically decide whenever the fuck he wants to leave, right? So I'm not going to sit here and say nothing. Yeah, when is it? When is the end of the road for Pep? When is it? Like, from objectively speaking, is it this year? Is it the end of this year, regardless of what happens, whether or not they win the league, Champions League, whatever? Is it the end of next year? Obviously, he did sign a contract extension. I can't remember how long that is for, but we all know contract extensions don't really mean fuck all in football. Let's be honest. They could just pay him out. City have enough money to pay him out. That's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what when the end point is, because is this squad different to what he is used to? Because his squad, I mean, when you look at it, Pep has probably done his best work without a 9. Can you say that? I mean, they had Aguero, right, when they got the Centurions and stuff. So I guess he was a pure 9. But when you look at the teams that he's had, obviously he was under Barcelona at first, and he had the likes of Ibra. I think he was there with Ibra and maybe Eto'o and these guys. But really, when you think of that Barcelona team, you think of like the Villa as the 9. And David Villa, whilst he's a 9, can play off the left, wasn't a fucking Erling Haaland style number 9. He wasn't a Lewandowski style number 9. So I think Pep does his best work without a bona fide 9. Like, I think Aguero was that, but he was far more fluid and could drop deep and could get on the end of a cross, but could also not drift out wide, but could hit the channels. And he was a little bit, maybe because he was a little bit smaller, had good hold up play, had good link up play. Whereas Haaland is just pure goals. So maybe the signing of Haaland and introducing him into the team probably was done looking forward for the club, being like, I'm going to bring Haaland in, going to coach for 2-3 years, and then the next guy who has it, whoever that is, can take him forward. Maybe that's what he's doing with the rejuvenation of the squad, introducing the likes of Lewis and then these guys. Because I think at some stage he's going to have to move on. And at some stage he's probably going to want a different challenge. Does he go to international football? Does he go to Italy where he hasn't been? Does he go to France where he hasn't been? I don't know. Does he go back to Spain? Does he go back to Germany? Does he stay in England and fucking coach United? That'd be cool. That'd be quite funny to see. I don't know, but I feel like there has to be a point where Pep ends it. Because it's that phrase, right? It's that phrase. You either die a hero or live long enough to see himself become the villain. I don't think Pep is ever going to get to the stage where he's a villain, a la someone like Arsene Wenger. But I think there is going to be a stage where if he does hold on for too long, people are going to be like, okay, like, football goes through cycles, managers go through cycles, teams go through cycles, and I think the last 4 or 5 years of Pep's Manchester City has been exceptional, right? They did everything they needed to do except that Champions League, which they got through last year. They have just done everything and some. I think there's going to be a point now where Pep needs to let someone else get the most out of this squad, because I feel like this squad, as things stand right now, probably doesn't suit Pep's football 100%. I feel like it does suit a style of football that is a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more direct at times as well. With the likes of Doku, with the likes of Haaland, with Foden, these players who are very, very direct, very dynamic. Do they suit Pep's kind of subdued at times football? Probably not. But then again, he is getting stupidly good results with them. So at the end of the day, what do I know? But I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Pep calls it an end at the end of this season, despite the contract extension, which I don't think means anything, like I said. So yeah, it's just a thought that I had, which I feel like is quite interesting to kind of analyse. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, they're 5 points off top, 20 games to go. They don't look as good as what they did last season. Yeah, maybe it's it. Maybe it's it for Pep. I don't know. Probably isn't, but I just thought it was a good talking point to touch on.